Hello and welcome to This Car Pod.
I'm Kennan.
I'm Filippo.
And this is going to be our biggest pod ever. There is so much to cover, starting with the biggest news story of the week, WhlistlinDiesel's arrest. We got some drama news first, and then we'll get into car news. WhlistlinDiesel has been arrested. It's a travesty. No, I'm kidding. It's not a travesty. And I want to just do it.
Coming out strong against Cody.
Are you ready? Listen, I want to start by saying I am Whistlin's biggest fan. I watch every video. I love Whistlin. I have been on the record talking about how much I adore WhlistlinDiesel. Yeah, we bought
Filippo died.
Yeah, we bought part of his G-Wagon that he tore apart, and he sold parts of it. I love WhlistlinDiesel. He got arrested this week. Ostensibly, what's been published and what he has confirmed is that he got arrested for tax evasion for Montana plates on his car, on his Ferrari. And which he destroyed.
By burning down a cornfield.
It burned down a cornfield.
That's all that's upset Filippo. Upset about the car. Filippo's upset about the corn.
He has already come out, and I've decided I'm going to use our podcast today, the largest automotive podcast, to do a little Montana plates rant. I think it's time to just really cover this and shut this all down.
All right, buckle in, Filippo. Here we go.
I am back for a day.
Whistlin, who I love dearly and sincerely, has already gone on his Instagram and started to advocate for himself using the primary argument that people who do the Montana plate thing use, which is, I don't own the car. A business in Montana owns the car. Therefore, I am not liable to pay taxes in my state of Tennessee. There's only one problem with that. The law in the state of Tennessee, which I have right here, disagrees with you. The law is very clear. It says a non-resident owner of a private passenger automobile, that would be the Montana LLC, is the non-resident owner, who operates the vehicle in this state, shall not be entitled to reciprocity in a period in excess of 30 days. And the problem with the argument, well, I don't own the car, they own the car in Montana, so the state law doesn't distinguish. And this is the issue that almost everybody has when I see these arguments on Renlist and on Ferrari Chat and on Reddit. Oh, but I don't own the car. The law says if you operate in the state for more than 30 days, you must re-register the vehicle in the state. That's what Tennessee law is. It doesn't care who owns the car. Yeah. God himself could own the car. But if God is operating the car in Tennessee for 30 days, he's got to register it in Tennessee. The law is very clear. It does not talk about the owner of the car. It talks about the place where the car is operated.
Right.
Now,
I suspect the reason that the states have difficulty proving this, they have to prove that the car
prove that the car has been in the states for 30 days, in the state for 30 days. Used to be difficult to prove, but something interesting has happened over the last decade. License plate readers have showed up all over the country. You do not notice them when you are driving around. They are high up on telephone poles, and there are license plate readers that look down and constantly are getting license plate information. Now, here in California, a little lib state, license plate readers have been very lightly dispatched, and the use of license plate readers has been heavily curtailed to the California Highway Patrol. They are basically not really able to use license plate readers for the purposes of enforcing this law.
Right. They can't even look back beyond that.
They only can look back 90 days unless there's like a murder they're investigating. So they're not using it for this purpose. Right. However, in the Republican states, which are super Blue Lives Matter, let's enforce the law, there has been a much different deployment of license plate readers. And the result of that is that these states do have the ability to pretty easily figure out if you have been operating your car in the state for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or many years. Now, I looked up the law in a few states. California law is the same. They don't care who owns the car. Yep. Montana person, a Florida person, if you're in the car, in the state with the car for 30 days, you have to register it in the state. That's the law. Utah has an amazing law. They started tying it to insurance. And I think this is the real key to the whole thing, because Utah has figured out nobody's going to play the game with insurance. Yeah. What everybody does is they get a cheap liability policy in Montana, and then they get a full insurance policy in the state where they actually operate the car, because you have to if you get in an accident. The Utah's law is, hey, if you insure the car in Utah, you have to register it in Utah. That will put a stop to the Montana thing completely if you get pulled over. Now, I will say, I looked this up. There are some states that do not tie the operation of the car to registration.
Yeah.
Louisiana, a guy in Louisiana arrested for doing this with an RV, which is also a popular Montana thing because they're so expensive, took him to court and the court sided with him. The Louisiana law said that if an owner has the car, then he has to register it. And he was like, well, I'm not the owner of the Montana. And the court actually sided with him and he didn't have to pay his fees. Louisiana law, and there are probably other states, the law is vague about this and you could get away with it. But that's not true in California. It's not true in Tennessee. It's not true in Utah. I have a friend in Massachusetts who got his car impounded.
Really?
Running Montana plates. And they impounded the car until he registered in Massachusetts. And you cannot get away anymore with the days of license plate readers. And I think that WhlistlinDiesel, and I love him dearly. He is my everything. I mean this, I love him. He's my favorite YouTuber. I think this is kind of the beginning of the end for the Montana situation.
He's an example.
I think they are trying to make an example of him. And the fact that Tennessee is cracking down, everybody's like, oh, California is cracking down. They liberals, they want to get everything, government's in your pocket. Well, Tennessee, Georgia had a big thing a couple of years ago where they arrested, like these states want their money. They don't care if it's Republicans, they want their money. And I think that this is going to be the end of the beginning of the end of the Montana thing is license plate readers and the states actually trying to go after it. Now, I will say, the thing that makes me sad about this is that there are legitimate reasons to do Montana. California's smog laws are actually stupid. Like my G-Wagon, which we spent 10 months and $10,000 in order to get it California compliant, just to prove to the state of California that it has the very same engine that it had in Europe that it had in the US. We still had to spend a year and $10,000. I think it's totally reasonable to run Montana plates so you can avoid smog when you're not actually polluting anymore. And guess what? After all those 10 months in the state lab, they discovered, oh, it has the same emissions profile. It's stupid. It's silly. Those kind of things. Inspection. If you want to have your stanced LS400 in New Jersey and you don't want to go to state inspection, well, I'm here for you.
Maybe there's a reason
I'm here for you. No, we let those people fly their LS400 flag. And the thing that annoys me is that for all of you who are out there doing, when I see a Huracan on Montanas, I'm like, what a loser. When I see a right-hand drive Delica on a South Dakota plate, give them a little nod and you move on. Montana, though, for all of us who have done it to avoid smog, we don't care about the taxes, to avoid smog, to avoid inspection, it has been ruined by people, rich people, who didn't want to pay sales tax on their McLaren. And that has come and has got you. And if you're out here driving one of these cars that is doing Montanas because you have to get away from the inspection people, the right-hand drive thing, you should be annoyed that these people with their Huracans and with their McLarens have gone out and tried to avoid taxes. Now, I want to make two other quick points here. The biggest argument I see about Montana online when it comes up, well, all the U-Hauls are registered in Arizona. How do they get away with it? U-Hauls and commercial trucks are governed under something called the International Registration Plan, which gives apportioned license plates to commercial vehicles. This allows commercial vehicles, unrelated to supercars, to pay state taxes based on the miles they drive within each state. This was created decades ago. Back in the day, trucks operating over the road used to have 5 license plates on them for the states they went to. That was decided to be stupid. So now you register in one state, but you pay taxes to all the states. That's how it's done. It's a commercial truck thing. It's totally unrelated. It has nothing to do with this. And I was on Reddit and I saw some guy got 500 upvotes being like, well, U-Haul does it, so why can't Whistlin? It's not the same. U-Haul there is a specific law, a reciprocity agreement between all states that covers U-Hauls. I also want to make the point, the other big argument I see when people get into this whole thing, oh, well, fine, you're supposed to pay the sales tax, but they're going to use it stupidly and you shouldn't pay sales tax on a used good. Change the law. This is a democracy. Change the law. You know why you haven't changed the law yet? Because there's not a lot of empathy out there for people who get in and say, I can't believe they're charging me sales tax on a used $300,000 Ferrari. That's why the law hasn't been changed yet, because most people actually agree with the law. They want to use the roads and have police and fire departments, and there is no sympathy for people, oh, they're not going to use the money right. Well, then get the law changed. There is no political will to change the law because the law is correct as it is written, no matter how much you don't want to pay sales tax because you can barely afford your Huracan. I will say one thing in WhlistlinDiesel's defense. I think it's wild he got arrested. Any other state, every other state I've heard deal with this, it's a letter in the mail. We know you're avoiding sales tax. You got 30 days to pay up, make it right. To go and arrest a person, I mean, I know they're trying to make an example. It's stupid. It's just silly. They wouldn't have done it for any other person other than him. Everybody else, you get a letter, here's your tax burden, we know you're lying. If you want to challenge it, you can do this. Go arrest. It's silly. It's an idiotic thing to do. I hope it benefits him greatly. I hope that he's able to make an amazing video based on the arrest.
I think it has. Just based on what he's posting, I think it's actually been a good thing for him.
So there's my Montana plate rant. I wanted to cover all of the arguments, all my thoughts on the Montana thing. It's sketch. I know a California collector who had DMV sent him a letter.
Yep.
He paid the tax after, but they got in a ton of trouble recently. My Massachusetts friend, the Utah thing. This is going away. The license plate readers is gonna put this away, and I'm gonna be able to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So my car's registered in California. Don't have to think about it.
Obviously, all of mine are. What do you think I am? My full $35,000 in vehicle value is all here. Now that I really appreciate legitimately that 11-minute rundown of
I do think it's important. You support all these arguments online by people who think they know better. And the simple truth is there's a lot more to this than you realize.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why the states don't want to go after their money.
Right. And they have a lot of incentive to do it. I am surprised. I'm disappointed, but not surprised by the example that they've tried to create here in WhlistlinDiesel. There's also some question in my mind of whether there's additional charges that the state may want to bring.
It seemed a lot of money in bail for this thing. I will say it was reported as both $2 million and $200,000. Now, in some states, you can put up 10% bail to get out, so I'm not sure which was the correct one. It still seems like a lot considering probably their assessment of his sales tax evasion is 20 grand.
Yeah, 7% of the value.
If you pay attention to his videos, he's got all these cars registered in Montana. There's probably a 6-figure balance due there. But
I wouldn't be shocked that it's to say if there's another shoe that drops on some of this, but nevertheless, quite a big show of force for a tax evasion issue.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of silly, to be honest. And I feel bad for. I mean, he doesn't care, probably. Like he loves it. He loves it as a channel. He bailed out in 2 hours. It's no big deal. He's going to write the tax, the thing, and whatever. But I do think it's a bit of a silly thing to do. But I also think like this is kind of the beginning of this Montana thing. If you're still doing this, you're looking at him. He got arrested. I have personal stories. A lot of people have personal stories. These states know what's going on, and this is not going to continue to last. Do we know anybody who's doing Montana anymore?
Just Nick.
But he's not. He stopped.
The multiple, I believe.
Another good example of a car that has done Montana because the smog regulation is ridiculous. He's going to do 1,000 miles a year in that car. He's sales tax on that car would be $100.
Right, exactly. Which he'd happily pay.
But now he's getting screwed because all the high-profile people have gone out there and made a big thing of it, stealing money from these states, and so now nobody can do it.
Let me put it this way: drive it around. We know some people.
I have some acquaintences.
Some acquaintances,
but all of us have dabbled in it.
I've never dabbled.
Never once.
But there were thoughts on all of our minds that we would at some point.
I've literally never considered it.
I talked about it, but like it didn't end up being a thing.
And now it won't. I'm not doing it anymore. This is clear. I'm not getting arrested. Come on.
They did not for that car.
It's also just not worth it.
Yeah.
No, it really is.
If you can afford the car, pay the tax. Or so many of these states allow loopholes, like, write the amount on the bill of sale. Like, take advantage of that. I'm sure Tennessee, Tennessee is not out there checking.
Don't just follow your state guidance.
Follow
and
your
laws.
state's guidelines and rules.
Please,
but if they have lax rules around the bill of sale.
All right,
I can see a bead of sweat coming out of Filippo's forehead.
You get my point, though.
Welcome back from
that is, in all honesty, that is another thing. I look at these singers, and I'm astonished. These guys are driving around in what is titled as a 1989 Porsche 911. That is a $23,000 car to your state tax authority, and they're still driving Montana plates. I'm like, what are you thinking? Just get the damn car titled. What is wrong with you?
Yep.
Anyway,
when we first started selling our own merch at merch.carsandbits.com, I thought, how hard can it be? And then suddenly I'm dealing with product pages, photos, inventory, shipping labels, all the stuff that nobody warns you about. That's when Shopify became our not-so-secret weapon. It turned something overwhelming into something we can actually manage. Shopify powers millions of businesses around the world, including 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Brands like Mattel and Gymshark rely on it, and now we do too. What makes Shopify so good is how fast it gets gets you up and running. You can build a great-looking store using hundreds of ready-made templates, and Shopify's built-in AI tools help you write product descriptions, page headlines, and even clean up your product photography. The marketing's easy too. Shopify lets you create email blasts and social campaigns right inside the platform, so it feels like you suddenly have a full team backing you up. And behind the scenes, Shopify handles all the complicated stuff: inventory, international shipping, returns, all of it. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big ideas into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/cars. That's shopify.com/cars. Moving on to more drama. This is great.
More drama.
What a start to the
You've
pod.
been following this?
Oh, absolutely. I love this.
The Hamilton Collection fella,
Steve,
I think his name, he came out and he's accused the Koenigsegg fella,
Christian
Vaughn, of making an unreliable car.
Yeah.
I don't want to say any more on the topic. I think my thoughts have been out there.
Yeah, sure have.
I think you got two interesting characters going at it here.
It's fascinating to see a very wealthy man with quite a collection call out an automaker and then have the CEO and founder of that automaker then respond via Instagram Reels to it. It's like, what is happening?
Back in the day, Ferruccio Lamborghini criticized Enzo Ferrari for his, I think it was clutches in the cars, and then what happened was a spite company. I don't think that's exactly going to happen here. It's kind of...
never know.
I do want to make a point here.
gravitas.
Hamilton was complaining because the Koenigsegg that he currently has has been unreliable. And Christian came out and said, well, the car had deferred maintenance and you drove it before we could do work on it. And also you have another, if you hate it so much, why you have another one coming? All that. I will say two things. One, everyone I know who has Koenigseggs has problems with them. Whether or not they are willing to admit that is interesting. I noticed some people in some of the comment sections being like, we love our Koenigsegg. People are afraid of not getting other ones. They're not getting more allocations. I know people who have problems.
Yes.
With that said, the coolest thing about this company, and you're surprised to see him respond on Instagram Reels.
Not surprised. It's interesting.
The coolest thing about this company is that the guy is here.
Yeah.
The guy is here.
True.
Imagine if you could have bought a Ferrari from Enzo. Imagine if you could have bought a Lamborghini from Ferruccio. If you buy a Bugatti, you are buying from a large multinational conglomerate.
Owned by Volkswagen. Yeah.
You know, and they take you to the factory in that house and they give you a nice meal and they just say all these things, but like,
the man's name's on the car.
you're buying from Enzo. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And so like the cars are trouble, but they're also the highest echelon of insane.
Well,
and you kind of expect trouble.
yes. I mean, famously, the cars push the envelope of like automotive engineering and creative new ideas, and it's all kind of experimental. I mean, it's tested and stuff, but it is largely, I mean, that's why people are attracted to the cars.
Yeah.
And that's why they produce the horsepower figures they can and all those things. So it's like, I agree. I think it's kind of par for the course. Like, what did you expect? This is a company in Sweden making supercars.
And making all the individual parts.
Right.
And the guy is here.
Right. It's like, a boutique thing.
Imagine if we could have bought a 250 PF from Enzo at the factory in the day.
Well, the market doesn't like the PF.
Don't
But yes,
you
I
agree
agree
that you would have put up with more temperamental BS if you could have shaken the guy's hand?
Yes.
Because you feel like you're buying not just a car, like a Bugatti, but you're buying like this experience, like this, you're in the period with the man. In 100 years, when he's dead and Koenigsegg has become what Ferrari is, a company that has been radically sized up by private equity that makes an SUV, there will be people who talk about how they shook Christian's hand and used to own him in the days when it wasn't so easy.
You shook Christian's hand. You should know better. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I agree with that. I just think it is wild that we live in a world where the guys whose name is on the car is calling out a customer.
And that's the cool thing about it.
It is incredible.
To me, that's the cool thing about Horatio. Like, that's, to me, that
well,
is
Horatio's translator, to be clear.
That is 40% of, in my mind, what makes Pagani and Koenigsegg cool is that you can shake the man's hand. And honestly, he wants to. Like, he wants to meet his customers and talk to them and have these experiences with them. And Ferrari, talk to your dealer.
Well, or they'll sue you.
Or they'll sue you.
Like he would have gotten a letter from Ferrari.
Right, if he had done this about Ferrari, oh my God, cease and desist.
Yeah, we would have gotten a cease and desist letter to frame like everybody has ever said anything bad about the company.
But here you're to me, I don't know that I would buy a Koenigsegg. I don't know if I would want to put up with it. The people who do put up with it are also putting up with a test bed of experimental at the very cutting edge of insane technology and customer service from the guy.
Right.
It's so cool. That's part of what you're able to say.
Yeah,
in my
I'm with you.
I don't necessarily think either of them are wrong as a result.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Hamilton's got a legitimate problem. The car is troublesome. However, Christian's saying, the cars are troublesome, but like here we are.
Yeah.
This isn't Ferrari. This isn't Toyota.
You're obviously spending an incredible amount of money to get a product, and you want that product to work and to get good service. But also, you're buying that car because you want the ultimate. You want the pinnacle.
And having part of having the
Not gonna be
experience
that
is
reliable. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, the reliability may be a little bit difficult because, and also like the experience of being direct line to the factory, that kind of stuff, which you can never get from the other automakers.
I'm just looking forward to the day when Horacio Pagani's translator yells at somebody else, and or Gordon Murray yells at somebody through Instagram too. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, there's a lot more news.
Yeah,
Starting with, we got to the next news story, which honestly is even more controversial than the other two. Listen, we've beat up Honda on this podcast, and I feel bad because the Passport is an okay car. I just make fun of it. This is a travesty.
Okay, this is the Honda Prelude. The Prelude is back. Kennan's excited.
I'm familiar,
It is a front-wheel drive, 200 horsepower, hybrid 4-cylinder
More than that.
CVT.
More than that. It is entirely based on the Civic Hybrid.
Yes, correct.
Same
Which is a
powertrain.
great car.
Great car. Great car.
$30,000, phenomenal car, great fuel economy, fun to drive by those standards, more torque than a Civic Si.
Yeah, where are you headed with that?
Well, how much is the Prelude, Doug?
Okay, so the Civic is $30,000. Honda's come out. The Prelude with destination $43,195 for a front-wheel drive Civic Hybrid wearing a dress, which admittedly is it's a nice looking car.
Yeah.
The new Nissan Z as a comparison point, which by the way has a 400 horsepower V6. That's double for those of you who have if you don't have access to a calculator, I'm just going to tell you it's double. Starts at $44,000. That's the same.
A base Mustang is less.
A base Mustang is less. A 2 Series is
230i,
less.
yeah.
Wow, that is nuts. What are they thinking?
This is $13,000 more expensive than the Honda Civic on which it's based.
Yep.
This is one of the single worst strategy. And then they're going to go, we came back, the Prelude came back, no one bought it. Enthusiasts said they wanted it, and we brought it back.
Yep.
We didn't want this.
Yep.
Are you astonished by that?
Let me think about, their justification is it is a more premium experience. The interior is a little bit nicer.
Yes. It also has more suspension upgrades. It's intended to handle better.
It's somewhere between a Civic Si and a Civic Hybrid and sportiness, probably. And that's worth $13,000.
Oh. Yeah, but it ain't.
I'd so much rather have a Z than this. So much. Not even close.
You would expect it to be $3,000 to $5,000 more than the Civic, I think. Like a coupe, often a little more expensive than the sedan version.
Yeah,
I could,
especially with
a little bit nicer.
13's a
big number.
$43,000. A Z is 44. It's the same price. It's the same price as a Z. A Z.
A Z. Yeah.
Just to be clear, that's 40% more than.
Think about in the '90s if you could have gone to the dealer and bought the '97 Prelude, which is a beloved car, or a 300ZX twin turbo.
Right.
I love the Prelude dearly. I think I'm going to take the Prelude. Or the Z.
Doug just loves the Prelude, as it turns out.
I did love that '97 Prelude. Type SH is a great car.
Type SH is a
Shame
great
that
car.
this is the.
But yeah, that's a shame that this is where that lineage has ended up. That's just
Also,
sad.
how did they get to that price?
How did they get to the number?
I think
40% more.
Why would they think the market has any what's going to happen? I mean, it can't last for more than a year or two.
Unless they are positioning it against the 230i, which is a reasonable positioning for an Acura.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if it was an
agreed.
Acura with another 50 horsepower,
An Integra coupe, okay.
Part of Honda's proposition in general in Acuras is that it's a better value compared to rivals. Like the 80X, which is kind of a mediocre car, but compared to the Q3 and the GLA, it offers more features for less money.
Yeah.
This offers less features for more money, and it doesn't have a badge. It's a Honda.
And it's not like they didn't go retro with the styling. It doesn't look like an old Prelude. Like it's not going to pull at those heartstrings.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
I agree.
Stunning decision.
I've been trying to make sense of it. They announced this maybe a few days ago. I'm honestly trying to make sense of it. I truly can't. You're right. They're going to say it's a more premium experience. It's a more special car. It's more beautiful.
Which it
and
is,
the suspension. All that's true. Pricing it more than a Mustang and at the same level as a Z, are they joking? What's the...
Yeah.
What happened?
I do want to correct something I said. It apparently shares suspension components with the Type R, which is a 40...
It better be the NSX Type R.
The Type R has a $45,000 MSRP. You're paying that much. I'll spend an extra
You're not gonna let-
$3,000 for a Type R.
Even Filippo would spend the extra money to go up to the Type
Well,
R.
Yeah.
Honest question. What does a Civic Si and these parts off the Honda parts counter at a dealership cost?
Good question.
Right.
Good question.
Modding culture.
Also, a Civic Si has 32 grand.
Civic Si is 32.
Yeah.
No, but to your point,
This is more torque, but still.
I don't know. It's just kind of
What is a GR Corolla? What does a GR
More.
Corolla cost?
More, but
What is it more?
no. A Corolla is 38.6.
38.
8.6. Oh my god.
This is $5,000 more than a GR Corolla, which, by the way, has 100 more horsepower, right? Isn't a GR Corolla at 300 horse?
I'm so sorry. I should say that was 2025. 2026 it starts at 39.9.
Still,
But regardless, less.
still.
Tell me though, isn't a GR Corolla a 300 horsepower car with
300
a
horsepower.
hatchback
Yep.
and probably there's at least the same level of suspension parts
Yep.
because it's like the ultimate.
And all-wheel drive. Well, and a complimentary 1-year membership to the National Autosport Association.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a value.
Dude,
So ultimately, this car is going to go into production. It will be a failure after 2 years. In the meantime, you should buy the Corolla or the Z or genuinely anything else.
Totally. I want to go back on something I said earlier. If you buy one of these, you should absolutely do the Montana plate thing because you need to save every penny you can after wasting tens of thousands of dollars on the purchase price of this car.
I'm excited for Honda to have a product that dealers struggle to sell. Those dealers haven't experienced it in a while.
It is so interesting.
Adversity will sharpen the breed.
Honda has this bizarre Core 6, right, that they just sell the hell out of, and they're amazing. Every one of those cars is either a segment leader or second
CR-V,
best.
The Pilot, all great.
All great. And then they just struggle to figure out how to iterate on that. And this is not that. This is honestly, I think, one of the worst value propositions in the car world today. Needless to say, I won't be getting a press car. So if you buy one of these, and you won't, bring it on down here so I can review it.
Fear not. There'll be a lot of dealers with them. You'll have no problem finding one.
I'll do one in 2 years. I'll do a dealer review of a 25, a leftover
Untitled.
25. And by the way, there will only be 25. So
We talked a month ago about how in Japan they have a bunch of pre-orders, but they're from an older population.
I don't even think they're going to get that here.
They can't. I don't understand how they will.
Old people are. They
It's
look at
too
this.
low.
Not appealing.
Not
Next
appealing.
news story.
Okay, this is my single favorite news story of the year.
Wild.
I think. All right, are you familiar with the Nissan Rogue?
Yes. Very famous vehicle.
Sure. It's Nissan's
well-known.
compact SUV. They sell 250,000-ish a year. Sell a lot of them. There is a car that's based on the Nissan Rogue and has been since it came out, which is the Mitsubishi Outlander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a plug-in hybrid vehicle.
Yep.
Or available as a plug-in hybrid, and it's based on the Rogue, but they restyled it. They it has some new sheet metal, has a slightly different interior.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
There's now a new Nissan, which is the Rogue plug-in hybrid, which is identical to a Mitsubishi Outlander. So Mitsubishi, years ago when this generation Rogue came out, did a small, restyled, badge-engineered car. Nissan has now stolen that entire design, literally the entire design, except for the badge and the front grille.
Stolen is
Stolen.
They're the same company.
They're reusing that exact design for their car. So they have a Rogue and then a Rogue hybrid that looks different, but looks identical to a car sold by a different manufacturer.
Okay. I am going to hit
But
you.
it has slightly worse specs because the Outlander has a 2026 facelift that included a bigger battery that the Rogue is not getting, apparently.
I am going to hit you.
Makes no
With-
sense.
I'm going to hit you with a trivia question.
Oh,
that I
goodness.
think is going to be really hard. So they're going to sell a Rogue that is totally different, one car, and there's a Rogue version that is a completely different car based on another car.
Yes.
So two cars in the same, they're based on completely
Same
different
sentence,
cars.
but correct.
Can you name another automaker who did this? And I'll give you a hint. Not only did they do it, but both cars is the same car, rebadged, different body styles, different rebadge models. Completely different cars.
But they share the name.
Yeah.
Yes. It's somewhere in my head. 1 second. Let's keep going. I'll get there.
The Scion IA.
Yes, because it was the hatchback was a Mazda 2 hatchback, and then
But the sedan
was the Yaris.
Was a Yaris. So this has precedent.
I was thinking about that car a lot over the last 2 weeks. I was in Japan. I was legitimately thinking about the Scion IA and the Mazda 2.
You should have been focused on the culture.
I was.
But the Scion IA hatchback was the Mazda 2. And,
Yep.
and, this,
And it was
so
such a
this is
better
what's happening
vehicle
here. Now, answer me this. Is this still on sale? This is still on
Yes.
sale new as a Mitsubishi. So
And,
it's
and
not
there's
that
a 2026 facelift to the Mitsubishi that includes improvements that the Rogue is apparently not getting.
Well, they got to have something. I mean, this is Mitsubishi's only successful car.
I will say, in Nissan's defense, they sell 250,000 Rogues.
Yeah.
Mitsubishi sells about 10,000 Outlanders. Nobody knows the Outlander exists.
And
The market doesn't know it exists.
Nissan owns
Fine.
Mitsubishi, yeah?
They own a large portion of it.
So they're trying to do this to expand their footprint.
And they need a hybrid. There used to be a Rogue hybrid. The current generation has not had one, though.
Right.
It's important for the market.
A plug-in specifically is important for the market.
Yeah.
There are some countries, especially in Northern Europe, where like plug-ins are a big deal.
But
in fact,
Northern
you go
Europe,
to
the Mitsubishi is popular.
It's popular. You go to Netherlands and you go to Denmark and you actually see these plug-in Outlanders. There's not a lot of plug-in little SUVs.
So outside of the US, in Japan and I think in some other markets, Nissan does have a hybrid powertrain that's actually a electric vehicle with a generator, basically. They call it e-Power. It's like a Scout style. There's a generator that powers the battery, but it's not like a traditional plug-in hybrid. I think they might sell the Qashqai or whatever with something similar in some markets. This is just U.S. market.
Just the U.S. market.
It's my understanding.
Is it Canada? Canada does have Mitsubishi.
Canada too.
Canada does have Mitsubishi?
Who knows?
They wouldn't know if they were missing it.
There is a reality that nobody but us will know this is happening.
It is a wild thing
Nobody
to do.
knows the Mitsubishi
Instead,
Outlander.
hey, we're going to do a plug-in hybrid. Oh, you're going to do a different powertrain? No. We're going to rebadge the car, a completely different car, but call it the same car that we already said.
Why couldn't they have just put... It's the same platform. Surely they could have just put the Rogue body on top of it.
No, it's much more complicated than that.
But
This is, dude.
Should it be?
Putting the Rogue, you're like living in the world of 30s hot rodders.
Yeah,
all they had to do here was change the front grille. Nissan,
I will say the
Nissan ain't
Mitsubishi
putting money into
Outlander
this.
is a compelling product.
It is. I agree. If it wasn't made by Mitsubishi, it'd be compelling. And now it isn't. Unfortunately, it's made by Nissan, which is only marginally more compelling. I've been using Delete Me for years now, and let me tell you, I'm still just as grateful for it today as I was the day I signed up. The first time I saw my personal info all over the internet, it was honestly kind of alarming. My full name, old phone number, old addresses, even info about my family, it was just sitting there publicly accessible. And it wasn't on just one site, it was on dozens. I had no idea that kind of data was floating around, let alone how easy it was for anyone to get their hands on it. And listen, as someone who's pretty visible online, I've had to deal with some pretty weird stuff. Random emails, weird messages, people digging a little too deep. That's why privacy is something I take seriously. Delete Me became a core part of how I protect myself and my family. And that's why I always recommend Delete Me. It's been one of the best decisions I've made when it comes to online safety and peace of mind. Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data broker sites. And here's what I love. You don't have to do anything complicated. You give them your info once, what you want removed, and they go to work. Every few months, they send me a personalized report showing exactly what they found and what they've removed. I've gotten emails like, we found your name, phone number, and address on 38 sites, and we removed it. It's honestly kind of incredible. And they don't stop. This is an ongoing thing. Delete Me keeps monitoring and removing your info so it doesn't just come right back. Over the years, I've watched the amount of my data online shrink more and more. It's like a digital spring cleaning, but someone else is doing all the work. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me, now with a special discount for our viewers. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/DeMuro and use code DeMuro at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/DeMuro and enter code DeMuro at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/DeMuro, code DeMuro. All right,
Also, no 10-year warranty like Mitsubishi.
Oh, really?
Oh, a Jeep with no doors.
All right, this is a Jeep Recon.
Yeah, I didn't
It
do
is
this one.
Jeep's all-electric new car. It was just revealed at the LA Auto Show. They've been talking about it forever.
Yeah.
It has, you'll be excited about this, Kennan, 635 horsepower or something thereabouts.
Dang.
I had
no doors.
Before. Sorry, 650 horsepower, 620 pound-feet of torque. It is their first trail-rated electric car.
Oh, is that so?
Yep.
Wow.
So trail-rated cars include the Renegade, for a little bit the Compass,
Wait
for
a
a
minute,
little
wait a
bit the
second.
Patriot.
Wait a second.
The Patriot.
I
Elliot.
took my Wagoneer S
Not trail-rated.
onto trails.
But not the Moab Trail. That
You know why the
yeah.
Wagoneer S isn't trail rated? Because it's not reliable enough to drive. It's not that it's a clearance problem.
They're worried about forest fires because they've all been having some issues. No, but this is trail rated.
The podcast is way off the rails. We're early, folks.
This is trail rated. Are you curious about how much it costs? Kennan?
What does it cost?
$65K starting. And it has 250 miles of range,
You know, I got to tell you though.
which is not quick.
I got to tell you though.
Not a lot.
It's a pretty compelling car.
Is it?
Look at it. It's cool as hell.
No, it's really cool.
The Wagoneer S is also 65. It's the same price, and
Well,
there is no. No one's ever paid it. It's the least compelling car. This Look at it. That's cool.
No, it is incredibly cool. Who is buying an off-road EV?
Who's buying Rivians? A lot of people.
I have to say,
I got a neighbor.
A Rivian has 330 to 400 miles of range.
Well, okay, there's a.
it's a
250.
it's a pretty
But what if
price
the Rivian's
point.
$85,000?
Right,
This is a
yeah.
bargain at 60 plus whatever lease deal you can get. These are
Right.
going to be $299 a month and 12
I'm
months.
glad that Jeep has gone on a product offensive. Over the last 4 months, they've revealed 4 new or facelifted vehicles. They call it 4x4.
Is one of them some sort of update to the Grand Wagoneer?
It is.
Okay.
And
so
another
3x4.
Another one is an update
Close.
to the Grand Cherokee, which is
2x4.
2x4s. Yeah.
the
which is
other one
ironic.
The new Cherokee, which also has a hybrid. This is cool. It looks cool. The rear end looks very FJ Cruiser to me.
Yeah.
Doors come off.
Doors come off.
It's
Real
got a lot of
horsepower.
cool little tricks too. I'm excited to
It'll be
actually
cool.
get
It'll
in
be
one.
legitimately cool.
It looks
Jeep makes
good.
cool
It's
vehicles.
boxy. I'll tell you,
It looks
legitimately compared to the Wagoneer S.
Yeah.
This is like a compelling product. I think it's too expensive. I think the range number is too low. However, performance figure looks great, and it looks really capable, and it just looks cool.
And the rear windows come out somehow.
That's awesome.
Like in this picture and in other press
They took
photos, like
the best thing from
the rear
Fisker.
3/4. No, those go down. These come out.
You remember when the Bronco debuted and they had the front doors had holes in them?
Yeah.
What the hell happened to
right?
that?
But I do legitimately
The Senate,
wonder
they decided to do.
how large the market is for a 650 horsepower off-road focused,
but I would
250
argue-
mile range EV. But hopefully it's something.
You're not wrong, but I would argue that the people who are buying this aren't actually going to go off road. So, what's the market for an electric 4Runner? Not zero.
That's a good point.
There's people who want to look cool and drive around. This is a California thing, a West
Yep.
Coast thing, Colorado. EVs have been heavily adopted in California, Oregon,
True.
Colorado, where this is going to sell.
It looks incredibly cool. I'm excited for you to have a press car because
Yeah.
I want to poke around it.
And
It's cool.
I think the thing with EVs is because it's so easy to make the power, why wouldn't you? Like that's
Yeah,
kind
no,
of the
agreed.
point with it.
Agreed.
It just should have that kind of power because it's so.
Yeah,
so
we'll tell that to Honda.
Well, you know what, Honda. I can't
Or
do any
Toyota.
more. I can't do any more Honda bashing. I feel bad at this point. It's
Toyota's EV is the real issue. Okay, go to our next news story. Yes, this.
yes.
Is
the
this
Porsche
out? Oh my
Cayenne.
God, are we breaking an embargo here?
I'm going to throw out there. You had a review that went out 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess we're good. The review actually went out this morning as we're filming this, so that's why I'm nervous. Embargoes are scary. You break an embargo, they say you can never review this product again. And I say, is that a promise? No, I'm not. I'm not saying that about this car, which I actually like. This is the new Cayenne Electric, which is really cool. The top version, I don't remember the figures, but the top version has 1 million horsepower. Might as well.
1100.
It's like 1100.
1160
It's-
with that like boost thing.
It's complicated. There's actually 3 different horsepower
Yeah,
ratings for
I
it.
just watched your video.
You only, was it good? Did you like it?
I only watched half of it so far, but I'll
It's long.
watch the rest later.
You have like 800 horsepower on tap, but then you could press a boost button and get like another 100. But then if you go into launch mode, you get
That's
like
what it
a
is.
full
1160 is the total, yeah.
1160, which is just
God.
does 0 to 60 in 1.9.
It's not the actual number, is it?
It's something like that, and it's incredibly cool. They're out and calling it the fastest SUV, just a quarter mile sub 10. Incredible.
I find it fast. This is the first car where I can think of Porsche going big on the horsepower game.
Yeah,
Like
Macan EV,
Macan EV sort of, but the Macan EV turbo is like 500 something.
it's quick.
But it's quick. All fast Porsches are fast. But like the first
again-
time I can like think of them going like
Right, going big,
really
on horsepower,
big on horsepower.
ignoring the sports cars that they've made for generations, like the 918.
Well, no, he's talking for EVs, right?
Yes,
No,
for-
but like even like
for
a
EVs.
911 turbo compared to
Yeah.
the most powerful, it's less horsepower than a Challenger.
We were talking about this last
Hellcat.
night. I mean, the 296 has 830 horsepower, and the 911 Turbo, despite being about as fast, still sits back at like 650 or 600.
Right. So like compared to the other
I think-
automakers that go big on horsepower,
Yep.
Dodge,
I guess
Lucid,
that's-
whatever. Like
guess
this
that's
is the first time they've like
I
kept up
think
with
they
the
were
top.
sick of getting beat in Jason Camisa's drag races by Rivians. I'm serious. I honestly
Probably.
bet they're sitting there being like, why do we not, we're Porsche. Why do we not have the fastest car in this drag race? Like we're being embarrassed by this
Yeah.
blocky SUV that's built in Illinois.
Right.
Like, come on.
Or the Lucid Gravity, which has 1100 something horsepower too.
And is
they
a
want to be
minivan.
faster. Yeah. Right.
And so they came out with this. I will say there are a lot of compelling things about this car. Price is not one of them. It's very expensive.
Very.
Obviously, the EV market is turning a little bit. It's a longer car, almost entirely for China. I think Porsche is desperately trying to still make inroads in China, where Porsche is not considered as premium. The Chinese automakers have a big leg up against a lot of foreign competition. However, there's a lot of cool things. You saw the inductive charging?
Yeah. Crazy.
That is that I'm so confused by because I just don't understand how it works. Like you pull it in the car and there's a pad that you charge. And I know the speed tail's like this too, but this is
the only
an
car I can think
SUV
of.
that's high off the ground. How does that pad? How does energy from that pad make it into the car? I don't.
They say it only gets up to 120 degrees, so that's like a hot day in Phoenix. It's not going to kill you if you touch it.
Or just July through September.
That's a day in Phoenix.
That's a day in Phoenix.
They say that if any motion is detected on the thing, it instantly stops charging, so it won't like zap you. You can leave it outside. You can step on it. You can kick it. You can drive over it. I saw it. I was there. They literally, with me in the car. I mean, they would let me do it in driving too, but I needed to film. But with me in the car, they pulled right onto it and it started charging.
Does it make the same sound like your iPhone does? It go.
No, because outside, the sound wouldn't help because you're in the car.
Right.
Inside, it's like a video game. There's like a circle and a receiving circle, and you like are positioning the car in the receiving circle, and then when you get it there, it like goes green, and you're like,
Woo! Yeah, exactly. But
It's incredible technology.
You
it
like
is
the curved
incredible
screen?
technology.
Did you not get to that part of the video? It's really cool because the curved screen, you can move. There's like the upper part and the lower part of the screen. The lower part has like all the controls, but you can push that away and just have a giant curved screen of like your map. So it's like the scene in Inception where like the world curves upwards. That's what it feels like.
Wow, great reference. Actually,
Reveal. I see some estimates for range. Did they say?
They told me, it's an interesting situation with Volkswagen Group and range and electric vehicles.
Yes.
They told me that
ZL1.
they have been able to get it to 350 miles. I think I said it in the video.
Yeah.
They've been able to get it to 350 miles. However, what we've all just learned is what you can do and what the EPA will rate a car at are different things.
Yes.
And so they weren't willing to even speculate on what their EPA rating is going to be.
I assume somewhere in the 350s.
I assume more like 300.
Less for the turbo.
I assume more like 300.
All right, that's still not horrible.
It's
not horrible for 1,100 horsepower.
Well, the base one has 435 horsepower.
But still does 0 to 60 in 4 something.
No, because
it's crazy.
Porsche also
pretty amazing.
is best able to deploy power of, I think, any manufacturer.
It is. I will say one thing. The gas one, which Porsche told me in this thing, is going to continue for at least 10 more years.
They're going to redesign it, I hope.
They didn't outright say it, but they heavily implied that the gas one will eventually join the electric one looking like this. But I think they wanted the EV to come out first with all the new look and the new technology. The gas one looks better. This car
interesting.
I don't think this car looks aggressive enough. I think there's a little bit too much Ford Escape in it. It's a little too round, I don't think it looks like the gas car looks like it's going to.
Even the current gas one?
Yeah.
I find the current redesign, facelift, whatever.
Grill's too big.
Not pretty.
Agreed, but it looks more aggressive. This looks a little too generic in my opinion.
Fair.
It is interesting though what lengths they're willing to go to for range and that kind of thing. And I suspect the style.
I saw like the active fins or whatever.
There's a fin that pops out in the back at a certain speed, and they said that individual feature gives them 15 more miles.
Wow.
Of range.
Wow.
It's impressive.
It's exciting to see Porsche come out with the Taycan was competitive-ish when it came out.
Yeah.
Different era. The updated one is good, but like kind of dated. It's incredible to see them come out with like something new
and good.
And that's clearly
they understand the Cayenne range
Yes.
matters a ton to them. I mean, it's a huge seller. So
it's a big deal.
And power.
This is a big deal car. Macan was a big deal. Whatever they do with Boxster is a big deal. But Cayenne, this is a big deal car. They want to screw it up. They've done a great job. It's a really compelling car. It's a really, really compelling.
You didn't get to drive it yet, right?
They haven't driven it yet, but I imagine they said I think sometime next year it comes out. So
it's only been doing hill climbs for 3 years, but
well, people have driven like camoed ones, and I want to drive a production car. All right, move on to our next news story. Yes, the Ford Focus.
Yes, the ZX3. Tell us about this car, Filippo.
This is an SVT actually.
Oh, is it an SVT?
It's ZX3 SVT.
Yeah.
From the
Wheels.
first generation. I love the first generation Focus. Love the first generation Focus, and I owned the U.S. third generation Focus, rest of the world fourth.
You did.
Fifth.
The last Focus just rolled off.
Oh, that's sad.
The assembly line.
Now, of course, we haven't had the Focus in the United States since what?
A few years. Yeah, no, a little longer than that.
Longer.
I don't know. Stopped in 18, 20, 19.
Few years, but the last Focus, it's interesting because the Fiesta has also been canceled. The Fiesta was being made in Cologne. The Focus was also being made in Germany. They were both gone. You know what's being made in the Fiesta's plant now?
What? I don't know.
The Explorer EV. You know that
the
they
one
sell
that's
in
for
Europe?
Europe, yeah.
And the Puma, or whatever it is.
Puma.
The little Puma, which is a smaller
product. This isn't surprising, right? Ford said very publicly years ago they were going to stop all non-SUV, non-sports cars.
It's crazy.
It happened in the U.S. before in Europe, which makes sense.
It's pretty surprising in Europe.
Have you been to Europe recently?
This is Europe, though.
Have you been there recently, though?
I was in Europe last year, and you still see a lot of little cars.
But you see so many little SUVs.
You do. But
ton.
it's wild to me that like we're in an era where even Europe is done with hatchbacks. Europe used to be hatchback. That's what it was.
And I loved it for it.
That was one of the things about Europe. You'd go to Europe and some Americans would come home and say, we saw the Eiffel Tower and we ate French bread and we saw there's all these little cars there.
Yeah. I still make a point of when I go to Europe, I rent a small.
You won't anymore.
He told me
I only rent
should.
small hatchbacks.
To be
You
honest,
won't anymore.
Yeah, I still will.
To be honest, I'm glad I didn't listen to you, but I understand why you recommended
You
it.
hit your.
I wanted power on the Autobahn.
You literally won't anymore. They're going away. This is like, it's coming to an
I
end.
love that Focus. I've never got to drive a final generation Focus. Wasn't sold in the U.S. Did never had one as a rental car. Nobody I know in Italy had the money for a Focus. Not a joke. But they were so good.
Yep. Do you remember when it came out? Were you too young?
Of course I remember. Also, my uncle had a series of Ford station wagons for years. They would get like a 1-year-old one every few years, a Focus wagon for years, till they went to the Corolla Urus hybrid station wagon thing.
This car,
because the Focus was big.
Yeah,
from an unbelievable, I can't believe cars are gone perspective, it's a big news story. But also the Focus it's hard to explain just how much of an impact it had in those early years.
I know.
It came out in 2000.
It's so good.
And this angled one with all the angles and the advertisement with the logo that had the angles.
The first world car.
It was a true world car, sold globally and was successful in a lot of countries. And the market it's hard to imagine, but the market has moved on. The Audi A8 is next.
Has it moved on? I'm not as confident. I've never been as confident in Ford's decision to get rid of them as Ford clearly has been. I think it's a mistake still, but
I will say, like, these segments where people have been pulling out of, one of the things that I've realized is that the people who pull out are usually the fringe players to begin with. So like the midsize sedan, the Malibu left. It was a popular car, but it was never a Camry or an Accord. This is a different thing. Ford was never a fringe
real
player.
segment.
This was a real, and so if Ford is making this decision, obviously they're willingly giving a lot of sales to rivals, but their take on it is probably, it's not going to, 5 more years, the rivals will make money off this, and then they're going to have to do this too.
I understand that in running a business, there's a lot of you have to make a decision based on your opinion. Like, you were chosen as the leader of that company, Jim Farley, and whoever else he hired was chosen as the leaders because they had some perspective, some opinion. Sometimes it's
I don't think this is opinion-based. I think there is an enormous amount of effort that went into this decision.
It's certainly, but it comes down to some matter of perspective, and they made a call on it. We'll see if they're right.
Cologne was building Fiestas.
You know how life gets busy, and before you realize it, months have gone by without sharing any photos to the people you care about. That's why Aura has become one of my favorite gifts to give. It makes staying connected effortless, even when everyone's scattered across different states and schedules. I always end up with great photos from photo shoots of cars that I've driven, those silly little moments with Emily, and all of those are things my family actually wants to see. With Aura, I can send those photos straight to their frame from my phone instantly. Big events, small everyday stuff, it all shows up like I'm right there, back in Ohio, with them. And the setup is ridiculously easy. Unlimited free photos and videos. You just download the Aura app and connect to Wi-Fi. You can even preload photos before it ships, so the frame arrives full of memories. Add a personal message, drop it in the included gift box, done. It feels personal without any of the hassle. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. And for a limited time only, visit auraframes.com and get $45 off Aura's best caregiver matte frames, voted #1 by Wirecutter, using the promo code CARS, C-A-R-S, at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code CARS. This exclusive Black Friday/Cyber Monday deal is their best of the year, so order now before it ends. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, next cool guy.
So speaking of cars that are being discontinued and internal, God.
What is behind the car is my biggest question.
That's a giant
Is that a
cow.
giant cow?
That's taking a giant dump on the car, which is what it is.
Oh my God.
This is the C63 that we're talking about. So Mercedes-Benz circulated an internal memo announcing that they are going to be getting rid of the C43 AMG, the GLC43, and the GLA35. Those will end production in February of 2026. The C63 and GLC63 will last, but only until May of 2026. Now, this isn't a surprise because earlier on, we talked about like the C63 has not been well received.
No.
4-cylinder car, you did a review on it. Everybody hates it. Mercedes-Benz has heard that, and they agree with it. But the reason these are being phased out is interesting to me. They're being phased out allegedly due to stricter noise regulations in Europe that's being enforced by the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe. That's the reason they cite. I suspect it's also that people don't want it, and enthusiasts have been pretty
I agree
loud
with
about
that
it.
to an extent, but the 43 cars sell pretty well. This is interesting. They're getting rid of the 43s. I mean, you see them everywhere.
And the 35. I mean, the GLA 35 is, I think, towards the end of its life cycle.
It is, but come on, C43 and GLC43
No,
are
C43
common.
do well.
We see those cars all over
Yep.
the place. But there's these noise restrictions. You know, as difficult as it is to be a car enthusiast in some places, you always are reminded that it'd be harder in Europe.
It's harder in Europe, yeah.
Are they ending that just for, the C43 sells well, and so does the GLC43, which is also like a BMW 340i competitor.
Well, it's
Said that twice in the last 10 seconds,
I know,
but thank you
but-
so much.
I know. Yep.
I agree with you. But they say production will end
Yeah.
in February of 26.
Well,
Yep.
goodbye.
New
there's-
EU rules July
upcoming-
1 of 26.
Honestly, you see a lot of them. You also frequently get annoyed by just how loud they are, so I'm okay with it.
You're annoyed by how loud C43s are?
So get out of here. You're more annoyed by BMW.
They're all.
I agree with
They're
that.
all modified.
No way.
They're all
43s.
burbled. Yes.
GLC 43s are driven by people who went into the dealer, wanted a lease special, and this was a slightly higher payment for a
GLC
cooler.
300 is for. Come on.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't do
know.
that.
It is a surprise.
Pretty crazy.
It is a surprise, but I guess not. The reason is a little bit more surprising than it actually happening. We knew it was going to happen with at least
Maybe.
the
For the
C63,
C63.
but
We
the
are
43s
reporting on the death of icons here. Icons.
In this case, we're grateful. Moving on to the next news story.
All right, I got
Wow.
in this. You see this? I hope this video does well because it's the coolest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. Hyundai is barking up the off-road SUV tree. And if I know anything about the Koreans,
Sure.
and God, I've been to Korea, so I consider myself an expert.
To do what? You review the Kia Niro?
Yeah, I went to Korea for the launch of the Kia Niro, but then I also spent a long time in Seoul. And I really got the
Capital city.
I got the feel of the place. I got the heartbeat of the place.
You know why it's called Seoul?
No.
Because Seoul it means capital in Korean.
That seems very Korean. Anyway, this actually goes along with what I'm saying. If I know the Koreans, and I don't, but as an American, because I was there for
do.
1 week, I feel that I
Obviously,
know.
yes.
They don't make concept cars willy-nilly.
No.
They name their capital city Capital. They're not out here. They're not out here going crazy. And I have a suspicion that this thing, the Hyundai Crater, which is up on my channel, is a prelude, and hopefully a better one than the one.
Nice callback. Well done.
Well
You must be a
done.
writer.
I have a feeling this is a prelude to something that's coming, and they won't confirm that, even though I pushed them on it a little. But they announced recently that they're going to make a body-on-frame pickup truck.
Yeah.
This is an electric vehicle that is actually smaller in length than the Tucson. It's a tiny little car. But Hyundai is smart. They sit here and watch Toyota take all these sales and Ford and Jeep, and they're like, we did it with the Palisade, and we went and took their market share, and we did it with the Tucson, and we went and took their market share. We can do this.
Yeah.
And I think they can. This thing's on like 33s.
It looks really cool.
Was it a cool concept?
You haven't seen the video yet because it's not
No, it's
live.
not out yet.
There are some features that you will really like, including there are 4 different modes that you select on the windshield, of course. And one of them is a
That is a concept,
DJ
isn't it?
mode
Oh.
where a song plays and you tap little buttons in the interior to insert like a drum beat.
While you're driving?
So you just
No.
just driving going like this.
No,
What
it's
a cool
while you're
idea.
parked. First off, it's a damn concept car. It doesn't drive. You don't have to worry about regulations.
Yeah. Good point.
That's
I remember when you had the Build Your Dreams, whatever it was called, here as a press car, and it had like a karaoke function. This is cooler.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this is cooler than that. It also, those lights on the roof, they light up as smiley faces.
Aw, how sweet.
There's a lot to it. And they it's exciting. And truthfully, I think it's exciting because I love reviewing concept cars and I think they're cool and weird and quirky. This one, I was especially excited to review because I just have a feeling this is previewing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think they've started going with this XRT line.
Yeah.
They're trying to get people thinking off-roady. They're going to do this.
I think
this.
But something probably not that dissimilar. Why avoid that? I've always had a question about Hyundai and Kia, right? They're cousin companies in a lot of ways. They co-develop. I view Kia because of the Telluride styling as like the off-roady fun one.
Yeah.
Here's Hyundai doing this, but it's cool.
It was designed in California.
Yeah, because they have the Hyundai Design Studio.
So I agree with you.
But it's cool
so interesting because I reviewed this, and the week before I reviewed the Telluride, you should see how these Hyundai Kia people talk about each other.
Yeah.
They might as well be Toyota. Oh, this has this better than the Hyundai, and the Kia doesn't have this. And it's like, aren't these cars co-developed? Like, ultimately. Like, they've
always
everything.
claimed no.
They claim
no.
Okay.
So cool.
Next news story. There's still more news.
All right.
This is a short one, but we got to talk about it.
So
our favorite taxi.
This is a Volvo EX90. Volvo has for a long time gone all in on LIDAR as a way to kind of scan the road and then create
So irritating.
Because it sets off your radar detector?
Constantly.
All right. The EX90 especially has like a little hump in the top of the roof for the LiDAR
light
sensor. They've said in the last week that they're going to stop all LiDAR in their cars starting in 2026 because they've ended a contract with their LiDAR producer for some they failed to deliver on some contracts or something. But that means that's like a massive change. It's going to go to fully Tesla. I mean, there's other methods. Tesla went to all camera a long time ago. There's other technologies that help with the
Do you think
How many manufacturers? Rivian uses it.
I don't know who else
Or
uses
not
LiDAR.
Rivian, no.
Lucid might use some LiDAR, yeah.
that the reason they're doing this is because they were breaking iPhone cameras? Move on to the next news story,
Maybe.
please.
But regardless, that hump will be used for something.
You think so?
Well,
I bet it isn't. I love the X9.
I'm excited for peace to return to my cabins driving around because it goes beep 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 beep, and it's like, where's the Volvo? There it is.
Well, I'll tell you, you know whose cabin has peace? Anybody who's got one of those. That is one of the great electric SUVs on sale. And honestly, its release has been hampered by the whole LiDAR thing.
You think so?
The iPhone thing and the fact that there's a taxi light on it and is LiDAR ever going to work? Oh, someday it will. That hampered the release of an otherwise...
Was it in use?
Right. That hampered the release of an otherwise truly excellent car. And I think if they had released this car the correct way without any of that stuff and using the same sort of system that Tesla has, this would have been a really much more successful launch of a truly great product.
Yeah, I will say they've said over and over again that they believe they can still maintain the safety of their next generation systems, so that they can still have them be as effective.
But they still won't do a camera rearview mirror.
Yep. Goodbye, LiDAR.
That was a huge amount of the pod devoted to news. It was a big news day. It was a big news day. We got to hurry through the rest because there's great questions.
And you didn't even let me talk about the Honda Pilot refresh.
All right, I want to move on to the Talk Cars segment next, which...
Brought to you by Cars and Bids.
It's brought to you by the 993 Turbo, Arena Red 993 Turbo.
Will you, God, just buy one already.
All right, I want to talk. We've had an
Has
incident.
been going on the entire time.
Yes,
We've had an incident. Sean's looking at me like, please don't say the incident. All right, I'm going to be vague. We had an incident with a potential sponsor, okay? We're looking for sponsors. We want to sponsor the pod. If you want to sponsor the pod, you send an email to Sean, SEAN, at carsandbids.com. You can also send him just like a general hello. Like, he's cool. He's got a G-Wagon, a bad color, but... So we were looking for sponsors. We're looking for sponsors. And a sponsor we find, we're talking to people here, there, 993 Turbo sponsoring this one from Solito. And we reached out to this one company, not going to name them apparently, wanted to, but I've been informed I shouldn't. And they were thinking about sponsor. We were having a conversation. There's a company that makes really cool car tech product, I don't know. And they reach out to us after last week's pod, and they say, last week, I was watching Doug's show, and I saw him in the group dismissing SEMA and saying they won't go to it. But for our company and our industry, SEMA is so important that we no longer have alignment with Doug and with Cars and Bids, and we will not be a sponsor. Now,
what?
I want to be clear about two things. First off, it is not SEMA who is making this complaint. SEMA has said nothing to us. They don't care. They don't care about us, and they shouldn't. The show's got 2 billion people. Second, anytime a sponsor tries to dictate the way that you're talking about stuff, that's a red flag of the century. And it isn't a sponsor. It's not someone who sponsored us before, someone we were thinking about. And so obviously that relationship shouldn't work on both ends. We don't like him because he's trying to dictate what we're saying on camera. He doesn't like us because we're insulting a show he participates at. And I was thinking about this. Imagine if Chevy came to us. Okay. And we do a Tahoe review. And they're like, we saw your Tahoe review, and in it, you complained about the LA Auto Show.
We are no longer aligned value-wise.
We love the LA Auto Show, and because you said bad things about it, we're never going to give you another Tahoe to review.
That'll fix it.
This dude is advocating the show isn't even related to his product. Honestly, straight up, I've been doing this a long time and I've gotten a lot of crazy emails. That is one of the craziest.
Especially because they make a good product that our audience is into.
A lot of us love the product. Nothing to do with SEMA. And by the way, then that's another thing. Some of these people in the industry and in life have such thin skins. Like, I insult SEMA. Who cares what I think? I'm an idiot. And the audience kind of knows that.
So true.
and so, like, who cares if I say SEMA sucks? Like,
It's SEMA. Everybody knows that it sucks. This isn't a secret. This isn't news.
The people who go there, everyone who comes back from SEMA that I know who goes there, like, oh God, I had to go another SEMA. But you go because you have to. Anyway, so we won't be getting sponsorship from them. Instead, all of our sponsorship will come from the Arena Red 993 Turbo.
Porsche still supporting creators with a car that came out 30 years ago.
Right. The used car factory.
I've been using Cash App a ton lately, and the thing that still gets me is how ridiculously fast it was to set up. Like, faster than when I used to be a Subway sandwich artist making footlong after footlong after footlong. And man, if back then I could have gotten my paycheck 2 days earlier, it would have been a game changer. I was making $7.25 an hour, living on leftover cookies. Early access to pay would have saved me. And a real question, are you one of those people who requests money down to the exact cent? Obviously, I am. And if you owe me $6.13, I'm sending that request for $6.13. It's who I am as a person. Cash App is more than just a safe way to send and receive money. With the Cash App card, you get tons of perks without hidden fees. Think early access to concert pre-sales like Kendrick Lamar and Sabrina Carpenter, plus discounts on everyday purchases at brands you're probably already spending money on. It also keeps your money safe by automatically flagging suspicious transactions and letting you lock your card instantly if it's ever lost or stolen. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code CashApp10 in their profile at sign-up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services are provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sudden Bank, member FDIC. Discounts and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
Okay, I want to move on quickly to Filippo in Japan. Filippo went to Japan.
Yeah.
We've done 56 minutes without discussing it. Filippo,
I was in Japan for 2 weeks. It was delightful. We spent a bunch of time in cities. We did a 100-kilometer bike ride across a bunch of islands on the inland sea.
He's in kilometers still.
Yeah. Drove a Urus, 600, 700 kilometers. It was horrible. Hated the Urus. It was one of the worst new vehicles
Was
I've
it a
driven ever.
hybrid?
No. Which is a mistake.
Was it a tip?
Yeah, of course. They're all CVT.
Oof.
Where'd you go
one of the worst
in
vehicles.
Japan?
We went to Tokyo and Kyoto.
Can I ask you about that?
Hiroshima, and then across those islands, and then to Nikko. It was great.
Cool.
Can I ask you about Tokyo and Kyoto?
You may.
Is it weird to you that Japan's largest city and Japan's second largest city, their names are just word scrambles of each other?
It's interesting, isn't it?
Do you think that people would think it's weird if New York City was called like Los Angeles? That's what it is.
I think they would. And we should talk about that more. Because it's not talked about enough.
It's not talked about enough.
It's the same letter.
They took the regular city and they just kind of didn't want to use.
Yeah. And it worked. It works.
It convinced people that they're different places.
Right.
Do you now believe they're different places?
Yes. I can verify, I can confirm that it took a couple hours on a bullet train to get there.
But do you think, this is a theory, do you think that this is the thing about bullet trains, we're car podcast, they rearranged, exactly. They took you around in circles and rearranged the city.
I can't prove otherwise.
Right. The Japanese are efficient people.
They are indeed.
What other cars
Beautiful country.
when you were in Japan?
I saw a bunch of American cars. Saw a Jeep Grand Wagoneer. I saw an H3.
Yeah.
I saw an H2.
Yep.
I wonder what that person
I know.
with the H3
They're popular.
Japan has the most fascinating used car market where like there's one-offs of a bunch of cars. Like even in the new car market, a lot of cars you don't expect to be sold there are, but nobody buys them. They only buy Toyotas and Daihatsus and Suzuki's, also all owned by Toyota.
Even luxury cars are not as common as you'd think.
Except for the Century.
You know what? You do resonate with them because
I
they
love
want
Japan.
the
It's great.
idea of owning those cars like you want with every car you talk about.
There were a lot of like, truly,
don't buy
like
it.
you see like a bunch of like French hatchbacks, but like one at a time, and you see 4 over the course of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But they're there. They're
there.
sold.
Yeah. The industry is
Fascinating.
just real strong. It is interesting to me.
Toyota's dominating the
Toyota
market.
dominates. It is interesting to me, the American car culture there. We have this JDM car culture in the States. And because you can't read their language, I don't think there's a lot of cross. Like, Japanese YouTuber I've never watched. There could be a Doug in Japan.
Right.
But like, their car culture is very U.S. focused as ours is JDM focused. I went there 5 years ago. I was astonished at the American cars I saw.
There were some really, really cool American cars. Also, a lot of like Italian and German cars, and I will not posit why.
Well, the German, I mean, they
Nice.
like Mercedes and things like that.
Like a lot of like we were walking in an area that happened to have a car show on a Sunday morning. Actually, somebody on Instagram reached out to me and recommended that I go to it, and I did. It was great. In
What
that
was
I
there?
walked through the street.
you see Godzilla?
A bunch of Porsches. I saw a couple GTRs. There were a bunch of 911s. There were a bunch of old Alphas. It's cool. We were at the very end of the show, but a lot of Italian cars, like old Italian cars. It was great. Love Japan.
Love Japan.
I'd love to
Incredibly
go.
beautiful.
Very high on my list, but I'm glad. I'm sorry
Do
that you
not
were.
rent a Yaris from Toyota Rent a Car.
I wouldn't rent.
Filippo goes
We were
without
going to the
saying.
mountains. We needed a car.
I
but-
would only take Bullet Train because that gives them ample time to rearrange the cities.
Well said. Well, welcome back, Filippo.
Don't know what to make of that.
Okay, what is your other talk cars situation?
I come back from vacation.
Yeah.
And I think I'm ready to buy a car. No. Okay, I'm actually legitimately
Let me
ready to buy
mansplain a
car.
little something to you. See that car right there? I did it. I went and got one.
right,
It's
yeah.
your
Oh, yeah,
turn
yeah,
to
yeah.
step
Here's
up
the
to
question.
plate and do
right,
it.
Thank you. So I would appreciate your support.
I also
and,
Filippo, we have been nothing but
Model.
supportive for six
and I
months,
bought
a year.
I bought a car 9 months ago.
Filippo,
You accidentally bought a car you
bought
didn't
a
want and you
car.
don't like.
I love the car. My wife loves the GTI.
We
It's
have
a
not
great
been
car.
supportive because
We've
you
done 19,000
continue
miles.
to disappoint us. 2 years ago, a year ago on this pod, I'm going to buy. You looked at a 997. You looked at a C7. You were getting all in, and then you ended up with a GTI that you bought randomly
And
on the
it's
site because it
wonderful.
looked like a deal.
And it has
During a
more.
meeting.
It has the same amount of torque as a 997.
You don't have.
Don't talk to me about torque.
You talk about these enthusiast cars, and then you end up with a cheap practical car because it's who you are in your core. I will
I'm
only
ready.
entertain this if you
I'm ready.
If this doesn't end with you buying a car, you're going to be in here. Whistlin is going to take you.
He would. I don't know. He's in jail. Who knows?
He's not in jail. He's not on bail.
There are kind of 2 cars I'm considering. A 991 base cab, ideally.
You will
coupe with a
never
manual.
buy a
It's $60,000.
Filippo, you would never. You haven't
Filippo.
spent. If you add every car you've ever bought together, does it equal $60,000?
Yes, but barely.
Filippo, you are not spending this kind of money.
No. That's an S. A non-S is 60.
He wants manual. Click on manual.
Okay.
A non. There's very few for sale. At any
We
given
actually
moment.
had one. This he should have
I
bought.
should have
this
bought
one.
that.
That
I
was
should
just
have
a
bought
really
the
clean
cab a couple weeks prior.
You're not spending 70.
But you guys have made it a point effectively over. Look at that one for 52.
Wait, yes,
I should have bought
This
that.
was a nice car. The interior.
Yeah.
You said you didn't like
I
the
didn't
colors.
like the yacht
I
blue.
love it. This blue,
the blue?
interior is
Yeah.
so cool.
It's like yachting blue. Is that
Yeah.
blue?
Yeah, that's a blue top too.
You both have made the point really effectively that there's a
Right.
difference between cost of entry and cost of ownership.
Yes.
And I don't think that based on the rest of the Porsche market, the 991s, 997, 911s have gone up notably. A car that was $40,000.
Interesting, because
9
you
months
looked
ago
at
when
one.
I looked at it,
You looked at one a year and a half ago,
it-
and I said, "Filippo, buy this car." Do you say, "I'm a good
Pretty much
GTI."
identical comp sold recently for 10 grand more than
Do you,
that.
do you
I should've
agree
done-
that you should have listened to Doug and that Doug was
I
right?
didn't love that 997.2. I really didn't. But I'm hoping.
Why do you
that-
think you'll love a 991?
I don't know. That's my concern. I haven't driven
you-
one, which is a problem.
Okay, well,
I
you
gotta
need to
find. I
drive.
gotta find one to drive. But I think that yes, it costs $60,000, but I'm quite confident I can get out of it for that
Yes.
in a year, 2 years.
There are quite a few good independent Porsche mechanics nearby.
and they're reliable. The 991s,
Yes.
to my knowledge, don't have
Yes.
any real
Great
notable
interior,
issues.
wonderful car. But the problem is not the
Valuable.
car. The problem is not the
But I'm
market.
ready to spend the money.
You
I
are
think.
not ready to
I think I
spend
am.
60. Filippo,
I think I am.
I want you to think.
I'm going to sell a GTI. I'm going to sell the Fiat.
I want
that
you
gets
to
me to 30.
Think about it. Think about it.
Halfway there.
Think about it in real terms. Think about you writing a 6-0. Think about
Well, I'll
this.
wire the money.
think about the 60,000
No,
disappearing.
it will be.
Think
and
about it.
I will want to back out 20 times, but I think it's time. I don't have kids. Will in the future, hopefully. I think it's time.
Of course,
A
it is.
991. What's the other car?
A 981 Boxster S.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
He's going to end up with a tip 987.
But
Yep. What color are your 987 be?
Here's the thing.
exactly
A nice 981 now is $45,000. We sold one a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
that we
Okay,
had
so
previously
what do you
sold.
think he ends
No,
up
I
with?
really don't like
So by lowest
price.
price. This one. This
Yep,
one.
there we
it's
are.
A stick.
I don't like the 987 Boxster. Love
That's
the
actually
camera.
That's a
986.
986.
Oh, sorry. I thought we'd go.
Here, there you go. 9,500. That's the one. Hey,
Boom.
we got your car, bud.
I am ready legitimately to buy something that is nice and good.
Don't.
And so I would appreciate you guys supporting and helping me.
I will
But we've
support
been
you.
nothing but
I will
I don't
support
think
you
that's
under
true.
the following circumstances.
Yeah.
If you can pinky me that this ends with a 9X1.
Thinking about that.
If it doesn't, I will never support you in anything you ever do ever again.
How much would you degrade me if I bought like a 987
base
no,
manual?
sorry, a 718?
No, he's getting.
I would love that.
All right, so it'll be something in that. It'll have 3 numbers.
Yeah, okay. He's gonna end up with an imported Peugeot 106 for
that'd be
2,100.
cool. No, I'm joking.
done, I'm done,
I'm
I'm done.
joking.
That's
I'm
funny,
joking.
that's funny,
Relatedly, I'm legitimately on the hunt for a base 991 cab or coupe manual, ideally without black wheels. I can't.
If you have
I
an
don't know
email
why.
him at Sean
or
at-
a 981 or the right 718, all manual. I'm legitimately, finally, I think, vaguely ready. You can
I
DM me, you can
legitimately,
email me.
finally, I think, vaguely ready.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we'll be supportive.
In the
You
meantime-
call
The
me-
sentence
you
I went
call me
with.
when legitimately, finally, I think vaguely turns into definitely.
You know what? In the meantime, I'm going to join my V12 bi-turbo Mercedes.
Heck yeah!
Keep dreaming, buddy.
All right, Kennan, tell us about. We'll cover this again on a later pod if you want to, but a lot of people out there who are not.
I
gonna
want
accept
you to
this.
buy a car. Just follow through this time.
Kennan, tell us about.
did last time.
Your
No,
SL's
yeah.
here, but you hit a milestone in your M5.
I did. I hit 10 years that I have owned my M5.
10 years.
A full decade that
Congratulations.
I have owned my car.
you ever have anything for 10 years?
Yeah.
Which yeah, okay. So I get, and I did a YouTube video about this too that kind of goes over the whole thing. But it was, I have to say, like looking back on owning my M5 for a decade, it's crazy to have had a car for that long. It was threw me with my life from age 20 to age 30. A lot of your life changes in that period of time. And the thing is, like, I still the moral of this whole story is, despite the costs and some of the pain I've had with it, I still love the car. Which also brings me back to another point. Someone asked a couple weeks ago how much I'm invested in the car this year, because I didn't want to go over $2,000.
Yeah.
So I tallied it up and I made sure, and it's
Don't reveal it here.
Oh, no,
Make-
no.
make it
No,
watch.
this is a big thing
time
when you were
to
gone.
talk about. $1,348 is less than I actually thought that it was. So I'm still
And
very
that doesn't
clear.
include the gift card we gave you to
Doesn't
Kevin.
no, because like
No, I agree. You
it's
probably
like,
wouldn't have done
I didn't
that.
spend that money.
Yeah,
The money was spent by others,
yeah,
which
I
is
see.
very
Well, and
kind.
by
and
giving
thank
you the gift card, we
enabled
that
it.
wouldn't necessarily have even done it if we hadn't
Right.
done that.
Yeah. So thank you, thank you
gift
guys
card,
for
you're welcome.
having done that. But nonetheless, like I just still love the car. I really love the SL65. I'm astonished how much I like this car. But that one will stick around for the future, I think. I just really enjoy the car.
I will say, I watched the video, and I'm excited for when you start modifying it, as you said you would at the end of the video.
I mentioned that I would consider an exhaust system, at some point when the car leaves daily duty. And I don't know exactly when that's going to be, but it will. I don't know when. I don't want to
That's
put
a
date on it
dailyable
yet,
car
but-
right there.
It is, but that you're wasting the purpose of that car, which is experience that incredible.
Well,
engine.
you know what you need then? A third car.
That's right.
Perhaps
And buy more
You want to buy
cars.
my Fiat 500
Perhaps a
Cabriolet?
Ronald McDonald Viper.
I drove one recently, and my God, I love that car. That'll be the next car after the 65.
I want to go on to Market Report.
Yeah.
The Market Report, by the way, is brought to you by the 993 Turbo. The 993 Turbo. Am I
arena
looking
red.
for one? Yeah.
You know, you've been looking for a long time, buddy.
You're the wait, yeah, I can't be.
No, you've been talking about this longer than he
Yeah,
has.
all
The
right.
993 Turbo.
All
for
right,
honest.
fair enough.
I looking. Anyway, okay. So Market Report. There's two things I really want to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we got to move on to questions. We're way over time, but this pod deserved it.
It did.
F-types. Can you pull it back? We have sold an F-type. Have you been paying attention to F-type sales? In the end, you're going to buy an F-type
I'm
because
not.
they're good
but
deals. Go to Lower.
Man, they're they.
Lowy Lowerson. We've sold this year 5 F-Types for under $21,000. The F-Type is now
these are-
a $20,000 used car.
crazy.
Now, obviously, these are the early ones, some miles on it, but you see where the market's going.
Six.
F-Types are cheap. This is a
But
beautiful car.
This one's a V8 for 21.
Oh my God. I remember that one sold.
I didn't really pay attention to this until we sold this last one, a couple, like this week, this gray
That
one
20,
sold.
yeah.
And I was like, I looked at it, go down, the miles were reasonable.
Unmodified.
It was 61,000
61.
miles.
Wow.
It was a nice car, unmodified, no accident. It was like a clean car. And it sold for 20, and I was like, what? 2-owner? This is what these are going for now? Yeah. This is a beautiful car
such
for
a-
20.
I'm glad I didn't pinky you.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, God.
Can I ask you a question? Honestly, we just had the ND I just did an ND review. It's going to go up in a few months. I don't know. It was great. I mean, I love the ND. You could get this.
Could.
And it's like really a beautiful car.
It's a beautiful car, yeah.
Pretty modern tech.
You have to imagine cost of ownership it being a
Maybe.
Jag. I would imagine.
Maybe. But this Super 6 is in a lot of cars. Like, it's.
Yep, missing those cylinders just filled in from the V8.
Right. Could be a V8 so easily.
You could have been, a couple cold ones and a drill. You can have a V8. But
Meanwhile, people are mad because they want to gatekeep the power of the monthly subscription fee. Jaguar's just filling in the cylinders. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
they won't notice.
Legitimately, though.
No, that's a pretty compelling car for that number.
20.
That's a beauty.
And yeah, you're right. As you look at this,
that.
25, and honestly, as you look, I was made a thing of it because they're 20, but as you look at this, even around 25, there's manuals, there's blown
I know.
V8s, 15 blown V8s. There's like really compelling vehicles in this price point. This is a supercharged V8
That's a-
F-Type R. Go down. How many miles does this have?
58.
Not that bad. Red. This is a cool car, and the coupes look better.
That
An
does not
SKR
look like
is
a
more.
$25,000
No,
car.
it absolutely does not look like a $25,000 car. This is a damn cool car for the number. It drives well,
really
too.
is.
It drives really well.
Does
It doesn't drive like, honestly, I just had the ND. The ND is more like engaging.
Of course, but
This is cool. A 911 is more engaging.
Yeah.
A Boxster feels like more of a sports car.
this is a very different and very cool experience. All in.
Still a
Sounds
very cool
great, too.
experience. Sounds great, especially these
Wow.
15 blown V8s sound amazing.
Well, if like Kennan I want to buy an automatic car, I'll consider it.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you over all the torque, all the thunder from my
I want to
V12.
talk about one other thing that I noticed this week that I think really deserves to be talked about, which is Supras. Can you pull up the Supra? Not the Mark IV, which I love and
Although the Mark IV is
the Mark
hot.
V.
Can I tell you something about Mark V Supras?
Yeah.
Hidden. We don't know that because we're not like JDM guys. We're not like in the forums. Hiddenly, subtly, under the table, low key, as the kids say, the Mark V Supra has gotten a huge following and is selling for crazy money.
Yeah.
When I went and reviewed the Mark V Supra at Summit Point, the only car review I've ever shot in West Virginia to this day. When I went and filmed that video, my complaints about the Supra were it didn't have enough power and it didn't have a manual transmission. And over time, Toyota gave the car more power,
Yep.
considerably more, and gave the car a manual transmission. They should have launched that way. But by doing that, they suddenly created a car that a lot of people are into.
Yep.
And these are still pulling real money now on the used
Yeah.
market. This car has how many miles? It's a modded stick,
18,000.
20,000 mile car. What does a new one cost?
Right.
This is a 23. This is a $53,000 number plus our fee. Like these cars are slept on in a lot of the world, but if you're into Supras, you are paying attention to the fact that these cars have become desirable.
That's crazy.
Less so the early ones with the autos like this, but the 23s, 24s with the stick, with the big motor, are really becoming desirable used cars.
Yep.
It honestly it reminds me a little bit of the Mark IVs. Like there is a real interest in these cars. 60,000,
57 is the
65, sticker was 57 for this car that we just sold for 53.
I'm looking for a stick one.
It is a surprise.
But
'cause
yeah.
The early ones are kind of valued. Actually, I looked into this a little bit, like very much like the Z4, like that's based upon. They're kind of in the same realm, but it is interesting.
The later ones with the
later
stick, with the
ones.
big motor, these A91 MT editions are really cool.
which underscores it should have been launched with the manual from the
Definitely.
beginning.
Yep.
I'm going to posit to you that the power bumped, so that's like 23 and up, 22, 23 and up, power bumped manual Mark Vs don't ever lose value. I'm going to
I think
posit
you're
that
right.
right now.
I think you're right.
I bet. I mean, they'll lose some. They're not going to be 65
Yeah.
forever, but you're never going to see these cars for 20 grand. You never will. Which I thought would happen because it was just as reskinned Z4. The market doesn't feel
Also,
that
it
way.
looks good.
It looks good.
Also, they're very popular. Like as a car guy on Instagram, get fed a lot of like reels of people doing
lot of guys
irresponsible things, and a lot of that happening in Mark V Supras.
Yeah. People overlooked the BMW thing. They were like,
Yep.
you know what? It's a Supra, and the modding community showed up for them, and there is a ton of modding opportunity for them.
Also, M3s, M4s are also really hot generally, especially in like tuner and like young communities. And this
In the
not wrong.
end, we made fun of them so much for using a BMW powertrain. They actually chose the right powertrain to use. It was that one that was in all these BMWs.
B58, the mighty B58.
Yep.
Maybe the best six-cylinder BMW's ever made. I prefer the S54, but I think the B58 in terms of reliability, the number of cars it's in, the power it makes, it's it's a strong six-cylinder engine. That's what BMW does. So it's right that it ended up in the Supra in a lot of ways.
It turned out that I was right about a couple things. It needed more power in a manual, and they were right about the BMW thing, and it worked out for them. And I think that the market demand and adorningness of this car is proving that.
I think the adoration is
people love it,
right? Yeah,
and the used values are showing that.
I love them personally. Every time I see a Supra, I think it's really cool. I think they look awesome.
Also, what a glow up for Toyota! Like the GR brand launched middlingly, but now they have this. They have the Corolla. They have the RAV4. They have, like, outside of the RAV4, that was a joke. But the GR brand, like, has all cars that are incredibly
the
desirable.
300 series, GR Sport, Land Cruiser.
Right. Saw a bunch of those.
Well, can't win them all.
No, that's a cool car. I agree. They actually invested. When I was 16 and Toyota, the mid 2000s, which was the era where all the crazy cars came from, Toyota had started to develop a reputation for being the most boring car company. To the point where they're well, in the 90s, they had cool cars. They let go of them all. And in the 2000s, they had, it's hard to explain now, but they really had developed a rep for being pretty dull.
Yes.
And they had, in the mid 2000s, where everybody was making all these fast cars, their fastest car was a pickup truck. It was the Stick X Runner. And the V6 RAV4. I mean, those were their fastest cars. It was so embarrassing.
Yep.
And they really put a lot of effort into changing perception. I don't think there's a single person in the world today who would say Toyota's a boring company.
Which is incredible.
Between the 400 Land Cruiser and the GR Corolla and the Supra and BRZ and all this stuff.
Crazy.
Okay, we got to move on to questions. The questions are sponsored by WhlistlinDiesel's Get Out of Jail Fund. Folks, I don't know if I'm allowed to pitch WhlistlinDiesel merch on the show, and honestly, I don't even know if he's still selling this.
He does not.
Oh my God! Well, we'll sell. I tell you what, we'll sell this. You write to us. You buy this for $1,000, and we'll send the profits to WhlistlinDiesel's Get Out of Jail Fund.
Wasn't that a gift?
Yeah,
it was from Nick.
But it was from Nick.
All right.
Right.
Okay, questions. Starting from, there's a lot of good questions, so buckle up. We're going to end up going long again. I feel terrible about it. First question from Quasi Brad. Doug, is it really a joke that you want an Arena Red 993 Turbo? Someone commented on the YouTube upload saying it was a joke, and you commented agreeing with it. Then there's a car like the one you want on Bring the Trailer. It's on Bring the Trailer, for God's sake.
I'm so glad that's catching on.
Over on the Bring the Trailer there. Yeah, no, it's not a joke, folks. I wanted a Arena Red 993 Turbo. Why don't I have one? Why do I have to sit here with this car model? Next question from ARAV 2020. Question for Filippo, if you ever return. You have said for months that you're selling your Fiat 500 at Abarth. When can we expect it live on the site?
Okay, here's what happened. Okay. I wanted to sell it in April, May.
And yet you took no steps to do that.
No, and then our producer was like, wait, no, we want to use it for this other thing, that didn't materialize, this other thing. But now I'm told I can sell it in January.
In January. So we're going to do a fun little challenge event with this car and the A2 and the Multipla that'll go up soon. It'll be really cool.
It will, and then it will
little
be gone.
Euro cars,
it will be gone and out of my life.
Right. And if
creative better be.
And then he says it's gonna be gone. I don't think he'll sell.
Right. If you have complaints about that time, you can email our producer Sean.
By the way, ARAV 2020. If you're sitting over here saying that because you want to buy it, don't. This is bad. No, the other day, Filippo was at my house bragging about how he hasn't done anything to the car, and I'm thinking, like oil changes, brake pads.
No, I want to be cleaned it more than he has.
I want to be clear. I put on new tires and I've gotten oil changes. What else can you want?
I even organized your paperwork that I found on the
I will say it's been an incredibly reliable car, and all I've done is oil changes and new tires. Incredibly reliable. Next question from Not a Porsche Guy. Hey, next question from Not a Porsche Guy. Same, dude. I'm not a Porsche guy either. Oh, God.
Have SF90 values dropped low enough to be considered a good buy? No. At what number would you consider buying one? $3. Next question. No. What do you think, Kennan? They're still 400 something.
They're still in the 400s. I think that should be a 300-ish car.
I think it should be about a one. Listen,
I don't want
me personally. If you're asking me personally, and I suppose you are, because you wrote to me, the day this is cheaper than a Mercy, it's a good deal. But until that
person I ask.
Until that day, I'd rather have a Mercy.
Like you are, like, by reputation, but in this specific arena,
a guy
you're not the right
cars with coffee, and he was like, "I'm thinking about a 750S or a 296," and I was like, "05 Ford GT," and he was like, What?
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
It's still 1,000 horsepower V8. I think nice looking.
It is,
Ferrari.
but I don't know.
Has some intrinsic value
for
probably.
485.
Two problems. 485, it's still going to lose an enormous amount of value. Number two, it looks like a 296, which I would much rather have. I think the 296 is one
More
of the coolest
beautiful.
modern Ferraris. And
It's slower. V6.
it's just, it doesn't have that much of the hybrid thing, doesn't have that much appeal. Man,
The
just-
cheapest SF90s must be at 400 now. This one
Or
was
less.
very optional.
I think less.
It's like in the low threes. That's interesting.
Next question from Ronnie F430. Hey, Doug, I thought you said the 996 GT2 was your favorite 911. Do you now prefer the 993 Turbo over? A lot of 993 Turbo questions. Love that. The 996 GT2 is my favorite 911. I think that's true. The competitor cars are the 993 Turbo and the new 911 ST, which I actually think belongs on that list. Nonetheless, what I'm looking for in this car is the 996 GT2 is pretty raw. The other two-seater, no back seats, hardcore. I got a lot of that. I got the Courier GT, the Countach, the Ford GT. I live at the intersection of raw and insane. That's where my house is. Raw and insane. I live there with right next door to John Force. There's a reference you weren't expecting. Raw and insane, all right? And so I want something that's a little bit more. Chip Foose is across the street. I want something that's a little bit more usable than that. And so I know the 962 I think is a better car, and actually it's cheaper. And I think it's cooler and it's more fun, it's more engaging, it's more insane. But the 993 solves a little bit of a problem that I have right now, which is that I wish I had a sports car. It was maybe a little bit more daleable, maybe a little bit more practical.
Plus, then you get all the great analog stuff from Porsche, the door close and all that stuff.
Although I personally, this is the most controversial statement I'll ever make on this pod, although not to probably the audience of the pod, but I personally think the 996 is actually the last analog 911. Like, if you really drive them, the 996 still feels like the tight, like dynamic car that the early ones did, and it's the 997. I know they switched away from air cooled, but like it's the 997 that really starts to feel like the luxury
You're talking like
car.
based. You mean like a 997.1 like GT3 to me feels pretty tight.
Well,
like
all the GT3s do, even the modern GT3s do. But when people talk about the loss of the analog feel of the 911, they are always referring to the split between the 993 and the 996. To me, that split's actually between the 996 and 997. And I say this as a guy who's had multiple 997s, company cars. I owned a 996. I've experienced a ton of these cars, and I think the 996 actually is like kind of the still retains a lot of the character for the night. It doesn't have the air cool. It's a little bigger, but not much bigger. Yeah. And I think it still has sort of the tight feel to it.
The 997 got larger.
997 was larger, and more importantly, they focused on luxury in the interior. They started focusing,
right, to be honest.
It probably, given where the price point was going, but they started focusing. You know, 993 Turbo,
interesting.
A new 911 is a foot longer than a 993 Turbo and 6 inches wider. A 993 Turbo is 5.5 inches shorter than a new Cayman.
Wow. That is a small car.
The cars have grown, and the Porsche has done an amazing job of engineering this incredible steering feel and handling despite the increased size. But the cars have grown, and I think it was the 996 to 997 split where you really felt that. I think, by the way, all of these are great cars.
It's a very interesting point. I had a friend who had a Courier 4S, and he said 997.2 Courier 4S, and he said that it just felt like a normal car to him. It felt like a luxury car. So then he ended up getting a .1 GT3. And that felt like the 911 he wanted.
I think any of the GT3s still have that sort of tight feel.
I see what you mean about the normal cars. Interesting.
Next question from Scott in Boston. I was wondering what everyone's garage situation was. This is a great question. We never discussed
Never
it.
talk about it.
The biggest thing holding me back is purchasing cool cars, lack of space. Of course, he's in Boston.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got to park that thing in the back bay. They got people bumping into each other, yelling about the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick and that young lady. What space do you guys have? Filippo, why don't you start us off?
My house has a garage.
Ooh.
It's technically a two-car garage that's not wide enough for two cars or long enough for two cars. Truly, it's such a misshapen garage.
Nor is your driveway.
My driveway can fit a Fiat 500 Abarth.
Barely.
I sometimes park the GTI there, but if I go close enough to the wall, it doesn't block the sidewalk on half of it, my curves. I can fit a Mercedes station wagon in one half of my garage as long as I'm comfortable not walking by it to get to literally anything else. Therefore, I don't. So I have a garage, technically.
But you don't really ever use it.
No, sometimes I'll park a car in there. If we're going out of town, I'll park a car in there. But we use it for like projects and woodworking and whatever other stuff, so it's rare.
Yeah.
If I buy a 991, I will park it in the garage.
Oh, wow. You'll have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Good.
Kennan, what's your parking situation?
Also, we live in Southern California. There's no weather. It's fine.
Well,
Right, it's only been raining the last week. Every day.
When you say that, even I, who hates cleaning my cars and doesn't care if my cars are clean, even I get a little
Buy a
annoyed.
car that can handle weather.
it sits outside. That doesn't mean there's no weather. That doesn't mean there's not issues.
No, but there are places where there's a real issue, where hail is common, or where there's enough snowfall that you create real problems.
We get a
or where there's
surprising amount of
like
hail.
in Arizona, where the sun is obviously
the car can still
significant
get
here,
stolen.
but in
It can
Arizona,
still get hit. Your car was hit, parked in front of your house on the street.
Excellent point.
Okay,
Excellent point.
Kennan, what is your parking situation?
So I live in an apartment complex, and I have 2 spots that are mine, like a shared garage, but it works out well for me. And then the other thing is that...
Too.
Sorry?
You're like between 2 pillars.
It's like it'd be very hard to door ding me.
Yeah.
But I also, I have access to the Cars and Bids garage, which is the office is one of our great hacks. Doug leaves his cars down here occasionally. I come down and clean my cars down here. And when I leave for vacation, I often will leave a car, the M5,
it's only miles
here.
long.
I was just talking to our landlord the other day. Our kids were playing at the park together. And he was saying, why don't you get more cars? You got this garage. And I was like, yeah, well, who knows? Who knows how long? One day is Filippo going to come to me and say, we're done. We're out of the space. We're moving into a former McDonald's in El Cajon.
Ooh, you can do videos in the drive-thru. You can do as many JDM drive-thru videos as you want.
We did a Veyron in the drive-thru, not telling people that it was our McDonald's.
It was Filippo's.
It's an idea.
Private McDonald's.
Keep that in mind.
Oh, shouldn't have told him.
My garage, I got a 4-car garage at home. I got 2, and then I got a lift from Ben Pack, which I paid retail for.
Hoovy.
Hoovy. 2 and 2, and it's cool. The 2 cars on the lift can move up independently, so they go up and down. So I don't have to pull like both bottom cars off to get the top ones down, which is really cool. And honestly, it works well. I wish I had 4 flat, but I live in the city. I've been a big advocate of living in cities. I've never lived in the suburbs. I like living in cities, kind of walkable, more urban. And so 4 flat garage spaces is not a realistic opportunity for me. But 2 was, and I built that. I finished that about a year ago, and so now I get 4 cars at home. And I could have gone more. I could have gone 5 or 6 cars.
Could you have?
At the very least, forward.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that intentionally because I felt that the responsible thing to do, and I mean this sincerely, the responsible thing to do was limit myself to 4 cars. At some point, you just got so many cars, you're just, And then immediately I went out looking for a 5th car.
Right. Using the 10,000 square foot bunker that we have. He's got plenty of room. He likes to limit it in concept, but in reality.
No.
Hunting a 993.
Okay, I want 2 more questions. 2 more questions. From Paul about cars for Doug. Some Lexus dealers are now discounting new LX Overtrails for over $7,000 off sticker. I saw that. Have you been on Autotrader? Whew. It's a bloodbath out there in the LX Overtrail market.
Is it actually?
Yeah, they're discounting. Is that enough?
700H included?
Huh?
700H included?
Yes. No, the Overtrail's only the 700H.
I thought there was a 600 Overtrail.
Yeah.
No?
Is that enough for you to consider getting one as a Sequoia replacement? Yeah.
If you are an enterprising Lexus dealer, reach out right now.
The used ones are coming under 100, and it won't leave my mind, and I just have a suspicion.
Also, your Sequoia's got to be worth about what you paid.
It's been hit, and I took off the running boards, and God knows where they
you
are.
made it look better.
It does look better.
It does look better.
Okay, Filippo, should we do one more?
Yeah, one more.
One more good one or one more not good one?
Well, you can choose.
Okay. Here's a good one that we can all answer from Paul Townsend. Many cars seem similar in specs, purpose, or performance, but get vastly different opinions on the pod. This leads me to ask you, what did the Urus do right that the DBX, Purosangue, and Elettra, and surely McLarens will do wrong? And what did the Revuelto do right that the SF90 did wrong? It's an interesting question. First off, the Urus sells well. I don't know that I would say that it did things right. Personally.
My criticisms of that always were I've thought if Lamborghini's going to bring back an SUV, what they should bring back is something like the L02 with a V12, make it look crazy. Instead, what they did is they took a Cube 7 and put a cool interior in it and called it a Lamborghini.
Q8.
Q8.
There is a success to the Urus, I think, because the price point actually turned out good. The Lamborghini name is stronger. Honestly, that alone is... By the way, I don't think the Purosangue did anything wrong. It's listed in here as this guy saying, what did they do wrong?
They're wrong.
I think the Purosangue is probably the best of all of them. It's too expensive, but it's the best of all of them. And when prices kind of normalize, it'll be really, really compelling.
Also, production hasn't fully picked up on those, right?
Yeah.
They're pretty limited.
I don't think
Urus came in at a really attractive price point, and I think that's why, if you ask why it sold well. Now, the more interesting part of the question is, what did the SF90 do wrong that the Revuelto did right? I would think about this a lot.
I'll tell you. Well, Revuelto has 12 cylinders, for one.
Yeah, I think that's part
which
of it.
I think is part of it. My issue with it is that Ferrari didn't really define where it fit in their world, and it looked too similar to the normal car.
It looked too similar to a normal car.
The
Although there
Revuelto
are people who would argue that Aventador and Huracan, I mean, you're walking down the street, is Filippo going to be able to tell those cars apart?
Yeah, I think even he. But
I can tell an SF90 apart, barely.
I don't know. Revuelto, I mean, because it came out before the Temerian, I think kind of, it looked different enough, and it was a different enough departure from its predecessor in the Aventador.
I do think a component, 12 cylinders is a component. I think the hybrid thing is not desirable to a lot of people.
Yeah.
To me also, this is going to be, maybe this is crazy because I'm a Countach owner, but Lambo lives in that world. They own that V12 expensive segment. Ferrari owns a lot of segments. But like when you think about what does the S-Class do well that the A8, which is about to be canceled, and the Jaguar XJ and the Lexus LS, both canceled, the Acura RL didn't do right. Well, the S-Class is that segment. Like when you think about a luxury sedan, you first think of the S-Class. And when I think about a mid-engine, top-of-the-line supercar in that segment, I think about Lamborghini, and I think about the Miura, the Countach, the Diablo, the Murcielago, the Aventador, and the Revuelto. Ferrari has been a bit player in this segment. They have tried at various times to compete with Lamborghini, and also at various times they have failed and backed off and said, we can't, and went back to front engine for years.
I mean, you say that the Testarossa was a monstrous sales success. They sold way more of those than Lamborghini did Countaches.
And yet, the market vastly prefers the Countach, and when it came time to redesign the Testarossa, Ferrari said, we don't have it.
Well, because
we don't have it.
You
have it, we don't.
In two different periods of time. In period, it was so much more commercially successful, but then as a result, because they made so many of them, that's why, like, all these years later, it's much easier to get one than it is a Countach. It's simple supply and demand.
Well, okay, but they're missing the point that I'm making is Ferrari then ceded that market to Lamborghini. Whether you believe that the Testarossa was better or not, Ferrari gave up. They gave up. After trying twice to compete with Lamborghini on cars that weren't really all that desirable, the Boxster and the Testarossa, and in both times not succeeding, they bailed. And they went front engine for decades, and they've now returned.
I would argue the reason they did that is because they came out with the F50 with their mid-engine V12. So if you're going to then come out with a car below that that's also a mid-engine V12, that's confusing. I think part of the reason they wanted to go back to the traditional front-engine V12 is, to your point, the Testarossa styling was getting old and they couldn't come up with something next. But also, they came out with the F50 and they're like, we can't go that direction.
The F50 was a 1 year only. I mean, they gave that segment up. That was a market segment. The F50 was a one-time thing, but it was a market segment that Ferrari seeded. And I think that Lamborghini established itself as sort of like Ferrari has established itself as the player in the entry. Like when you think of an entry exotic, the 296, that's the one that all the others are compared against. The luxury sedans, the A8 all of them are compared against the S-Class. In the entry sports sedan, the 3 Series, all of the other sports sedans are compared against the 3 Series. And I think that Lamborghini just simply has developed this reputation for creating this type of car, and Ferrari shows up with a hybrid that doesn't look different from the other car, that's really expensive, and people are like, nah. And Revuelto was just more desirable.
Also, like the SF90 was the start of Ferrari doing a lot of technology and screens. It wasn't the first, but like was furthering that in a way that was at maybe the right move, but at the wrong time. And Lamborghini is on a streak of doing everything right for their market. All of their products have been on an up and up from a production standpoint. Like they had right timing to launch an SUV that helped them launch then a successful Revuelto. Maybe the Temerario will be successful too, probably. Like there's like a timing element here where it also worked in their favor, and it did not work in Ferraris.
I feel the worst for the DBX. I feel like the DBX.
I mean, Aston Martin doesn't sell any cars.
707 is great.
Yeah, you want to know what what's screwed over the DBX is just the general perception around the Aston Martin brand. I actually think the DBX 707 is a really compelling car. The brand has a perception of overproducing cars, and thus resale value is a complete disaster. Aston Martin is a desirable brand. They are just not desirable at the production level that the home office wants them to be.
Yep.
And so you make this many, people want, they really want, but they only want this many. And so there's this perception that you're going to buy a DBX and you're going to lose $100,000 in value, which is what happened.
Right, yeah. You see what they're going for now? Like normal ones are like 85.
Normal ones are in the 80s. Meanwhile,
Crazy.
you try to find an Urus in the 80s, it's going to be a Matt Armstrong rolled over 6 times into a ditch in Bahrain.
Montana title.
Yeah. Anyway, free whistling.
Hashtag save whistling.
Free whistling, and that's our podcast. You got any final thoughts here? We're way over time. Flea, any final thoughts?
I do, actually.
Oh, wow.
You should just buy a Crown SUV instead of a Porsche Songway.
You
Look
can't-
identical. Look identical.
They're only sold in Japan.
Look identical.
You can't.
Look identical.
Just, oh my
Do you remember one thing and
Look it
one
up.
thing only? Free whistling, but if you do in Montana, they coming for you. And
Yeah.
by the way, one other thing about Montana, when you make that argument online, the car's registered in Montana, what about U-Haul? Try to make that argument to a cop on the side of the road. He's going to turn you into one of these.
Best podcast we've ever done.
Whistling, free whistling.
Wow, we're going to get some comments. All right.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everyone.